Hey guys, back here at the hotel. Brett Logerato here from the DO with my beat partner Andrew John. Just got back from Syracuse's 29-3 victory over Akron, and the first things first. It's Syracuse's first opening victory since 2003, and me and Andrew both noticed how that was a huge topic of conversation and a huge reason for optimism in the locker room after the game. So I'll throw it over to Andrew, and that was kind of what his game story was about, and what did you see? What did you reaction from players?
I think that it's easy to brush this off because it comes against Akron, but it's significant because obviously, as you mentioned, it's the first opening victory since 2003, and it really gives them a lot of momentum going into this next three-game stretch. Now they travel to Seattle, and then they come back and play two games at home against Maine and Colgate, and they really should be at least 3-1, if not 4-0, by the end of that stretch. So I think that this really starts, giving them a little bit of confidence heading into those games.
And going off that, one guy who really had confidence tonight, it looked like was Ryan Nassib, and I think you would agree with me. He looked pretty poised. There were a couple of moments where it was obvious that it was his first start. He tried to force some balls in. He made a few mistakes that cost him in the end. He had a fumble, interception. But I think overall it was a great performance from Ryan Nassib, especially in his first start. I don't think you could ask for much better from him. A couple of big plays in there too, as well to Van Chu and Aaron Weaver. And overall, I think it's a start. It exceeded expectations, I guess.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that really impressed me, as you mentioned, the poise in the pocket, was also able to make some plays with his feet. He had 58 yards rushing, and he really could have gotten in the end zone there at the end, probably, and given himself a rushing touchdown. But anyway, he was really showing a lot of different parts of his game that seem to be starting to come together after a year playing behind Paulus.
Yeah, and you mentioned the poise in the pocket, and third down conversions were big this game too, and he had a couple of those, a bunch of those actually, throughout the game, and that was one of the things that stood out to me at least. Also, Nassib, he looks like he's established a rapport and he's comfortable with his group of receivers, and that was a big question coming in. Who would be his go-to guy? Who would be, with the receiving core step up? And I think they answered that question a little bit tonight. It's only Akron, but it is a start. And I don't know if there's that go-to guy yet, but there's one thing that's clear, and SU has a good crop of receivers. I think you'd agree with me. Van Chu had a couple of big plays today. He really was that throw it up, Ryan, and I'll catch it type of guy. Alec Lemon had some solid gains over the middle, and Aaron Weaver had the big touchdown catch in the beginning, so he can be a weapon too. And Andrew, what did you see other than that from the receiving core?
Like you mentioned, I think that they really had a lot of question marks coming in this game, and they may not have a true number one receiver, but I think that they do have 3 or 4 guys, and Doug Marrone reiterated that in his post-game remarks, that they do have 3 or 4 guys that they're real comfortable with there, and that they feel can make plays, and we saw that happen today. And what we talked about in the past, Aaron Weaver really could be a sleeper. He played well tonight, and Van Chu, man, I mean, where did he come from? He really played great, and this is something we haven't seen from him. But he has the ability to stretch the field, and obviously make some great catches today as well.
Yeah, he does look like that. He could be that big play wide receiver, and Coach Marrone said that as much after the game. He said he could be that guy. He singled him out and said he was really excited for him to make those plays. And transitioning now to the defensive side, just a completely dominating performance by SU. And we kind of thought this going in. We all picked Akron in single digits, or Andrew picked them to get 10. But that was one of the biggest questions, for Akron. How would they score? But while Akron's offense did look anemic at times, SU's defense, gave them fits and really seemed to get better over the course of the game.
Yeah, I think that one of the most impressive things was that they had a really good defense against the run last year. They're 13th in the country, one of the best teams in the Big East against the run. This year, they may be able to play equally well against the pass. At least that's what their hope is, and they showed that tonight. They were able to shut Patrick nicely down. He had a pretty good game against Syracuse last year in the Dome. They completely shut him down. I think he had he was only able to get about 3 yards per pass per attempt, and that's really impressive. He also only had like a 34% completion percentage. So they really shut him down. And like you mentioned, we really expected this coming in. This defense has not only gotten better, they return a lot of their starters, but they're able to build off of their second year under Scott Schaefer in the defensive scheme that they're running. So I think that they're only going to get better from here on out.
Yeah, and one guy too, Chandler Jones, really stood out to me at least. He had a sack, hit the block kick, and he really seemed to be in there almost on every single time there was pressure. And I know one guy that stuck out to you was Shamarko.
Yeah.
In his coming back a little while ago from that hamstring injury. He looked like he didn't really miss a beat. So
yeah, and talking to Shamarko, one of the things that really stood out was that he's been kind of singing the same tune all along during the preseason, and he said the same remarks today, which is they feel that they can be a really good team, not just a good defense but a good team. He said that this was like the first step in showing people that they can be a good team, and he still feels like they have a lot to prove and that they're going to have to do that on a week-to-week basis. But obviously, you got to start somewhere, and a big win here at Akron to open the season. You can't get much better than that.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it for now. But overall, big win for SU to start off year 2, and it's a good start for Doug Marrone in his second year and for the Orange overall this season. And we'll see how it transitions next week when the Orange get their first real test of the season at Washington. So be sure to check the site tomorrow and on Tuesday. Also check the paper for stories. Check the blog. We'll constantly be updating content there too. And so yeah, for now, signing off from Akron.